somebody how to run that fast. That's just like Sammy Watkins. You didn't really have to tell Sammy Watkins, but you just to get him out there, make sure he's on the bus. But Takoy's a good kid. He's a great kid, and he's going to have to help us. We're short of that position, and to run this offense effectively in the way we want to run it, we need to be able to every 3 plays just throw 3 new bodies out there because we stay in 3 wide, 4 wide the majority of the game. And to run this offense the way we want it in 80-plus snaps a game, let's go fast as we can. You got to have bodies, and you got to have guys that can go, and that's what happened with us at Clemson last year. Poor Sammy Watkins, he got exhausted. He was worn out because we used him all the time. So I'm really excited about Takoy. There's a lot of different things you can do to get him the ball, and he's a smart kid. He's picking things up well. Him and Jamal have a great relationship. Our wideouts are really. It's really been interesting to watch the maturity of my room for the wideouts, because he came in and he had to earn his spot, but, everybody knew he was a special talent. And instead of being jerks to him and, not helping him at all, 11, Peacock took him under his wing and Tony's took him under his wing. Jonathan Shiley's, they've done a great job of helping him get acclimated and get used to the offense. And he's going to do a great job for us, and we're looking for big things out of him, and hopefully he can help us this year.
Yeah, that speed, exactly what you're saying. You can't teach that. And being, again, potentially the fastest player in college football, that's in our offense, that's getting him in open space, and he's gone. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And also hitting on what you mentioned earlier about the toughness, one of the biggest plays that came to me in FanFest was a fumble recovery by Blaylock, and he was about to return it for a touchdown, and Sumler came out of nowhere and pushed him out of bounds. You just don't see that anymore, and that was amazing for me to see.
Yeah, and that goes back to telling you guys, that's exactly how those guys play. And I tell them, hey, you're not having fun, and you're not playing to your full potential unless you give it every single thing you have, every single play. And if you want to see how Coach Stepp at App State wants his receivers to play, you watch that play right there. And that's all any coach wants, is a kid to play as hard as he can, empty the tank, be a selfless player, don't be selfish, play for everybody else on the team. And that was a fun moment. That was probably one of my highlights. As funny as that may sound, that was probably one of the best plays of fall camp, because you just saw a kid, hey, I was a 4-star recruit. I went to Oregon. It had been very easy for him just to sit over on the other side of the field and just let that guy run. And he told me, the thing I like about that kid is he told me when he came on his visit, he said, Coach, I want to play and I want to make a difference. And I think as a coach, that's all you want is for your kids to want to make a difference and to want to be special. And Takoy is one of those kids.
That's great. And I remember, one thing when, they were, kind of reading about all the schools that were interested in him. Obviously there's the normal, Miami and FIU and FAU and all the local schools and all that. But, I think it really said a lot about how sharp of a kid he is when and when you see all the, the Ivy League schools out there trying to get him to come play ball for him as well. So he's obviously very, very sharp, and I think he should be able to pick up the mental aspect of the game, and with the whole kind of receiving core as a group. It's very young with the exception of a couple, but I think the talent is there. And one other guy that Brian and I also I think got a real good impression of when we were at FanFest was Malachi Jones. And see that he is looks like he's listed kind of behind Sean Price in that. Behind Sean Price on the depth chart, and just didn't know if you maybe could let us know how active you think he might be in the offense this year, or kind of how he's progressed throughout the offseason.
Well, Malachi's done a great job, and again, he's smart, and that's what's helped Seven. I call him by numbers. The thing that's helped Malachi is that he's been able to come in here and he's learned concepts. He hasn't just learned his job, like I keep going back to. He's learned the whole entire concept, why he's doing what he's doing. And Malachi's not going to redshirt. Malachi's going to help us. He's going to play this year. And I look for Malachi to have a pretty significant role within this offense. Somehow, I don't think he's a 30, 40 catch game, 30 catch season, but I do see him, catching balls here and there, and he's going to have to help us. And, the biggest thing in any group is competition. And when people feel like they've had a chance for their job to get taken, it makes everybody play a little bit harder. And that's why I told them, look, I don't care if you're a freshman. I don't care if you're a senior. If you're one of the best 11 we got, you'll play. And, I mean, that goes the whole year. Just because you start the first game don't mean you'll start the second game. And so I want these guys competing. I think that's when you get the best out of them. And he pushes Sean Price, and he pushes some other guys. And Sims McElfresh, that kid's going to be special. He's going to help us, And so we got great kids. We got good competition within that group. But Malachi's going to be a good player. He's going to be a very good player. He's got some instincts, some football instincts, some things that you can't really coach. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he matures and how he comes along throughout the season. And obviously there's a learning curve with him and with Sean Price. There's going to be a time somewhere in that East Carolina game, and I told him this today. There's going to be a time where they kind of look around like, oh, holy crap, this is a little bit faster than what I'm used to, So, but I mean that comes with anybody, But Malachi will help us, and I'm really looking forward to watching him this year.
That's great to hear, and it's one of those things where as fans, and obviously even more so for yourself, I'm sure as a coach, we're kind of in the same boat where we've seen and heard enough about these guys and know there's some serious ability there, and we're just real excited to kind of see them progress not only this year but in years going forward. It looks like it could be a strength of this team for a while to come. So always great to hear how the young guys are coming along, and I think that's all we have for you. So I really appreciate you coming on. I know it's a busy time, especially with game week, and as fans, we always love to hear right from the coach if everything's going. So we appreciate your time.
Hey, well, you guys are welcome, and again, I really appreciate you guys letting me be a part and letting me come on. And anytime I can ever help you guys just let me know. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm excited to be here. And there's no other place I'd rather be than at State and around these fans and around this program. So,
well, thank you very much, Coach. We really appreciate it. And after this conversation, I don't think our receiving corps is going to have any problems this year. I love your passion and what you're doing. So we look forward to a great season and looking to see what you can do with our young corps.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night, and God bless.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. All right, bye.
So, Mike, what a find it seems we have with that coach, huh?
Yeah, that was he did he was a very impressive interview. Obviously, you could just get a sense for his enthusiasm. The energy really came through the phone when he was talking to us. It's just it's great to see how enthusiastic he is about this young group of receivers, and how genuinely happy he is to be here in Boone and be back in the Southern Conference, and kind of how we were talking about off air. It's just great to see from a coaching staff in general. Having talked now both to him and to Coach Satterfield, to have I feel like we're really fortunate to have a coaching staff that seems to really genuinely value the fans and take time out of their schedule, especially at a time of the year that's as hectic as it is right now, and they certainly have no obligation to come out and talk to us. And it's I feel great about what he's doing, and the enthusiasm he's bringing, the experience he's bringing from coaching at Clemson as well as playing in the Southern Conference. I think that I think our young guys are in really good hands.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you could just, like you said, you can hear the enthusiasm and the passion that he has for not only the game but for the position of wide receiver, and I think that's going to come out in our young players. They're going to see this. I mean, the coach isn't too old himself, so he just got done playing, so he can relate to him, and I think it's going to be a great turnaround with our receivers. Not saying that our previous wide receiver coach wasn't that good, but it's just a different coaching style, I think, and I think it's going to pay off since we are so young. One thing that I took from that we really haven't heard a whole lot of is Sims McElfresh. I mean, Coach Stepp said that he's going to be a special player for us. He's a redshirt freshman, and he's actually in the starting lineup as our fourth receiver. So, again, we haven't heard a whole lot from him, but I saw him a little bit in FanFest, and he looks like he runs clean, crisp routes. But that's really all I know about him, so I'm excited to see what he can bring. And is there anything else that you took from the interview at all?
Well, yeah, that was that was one thing I was going to mention as well. He did touch a little bit on the end about he touched on Sims McElfresh, and that's one thing I mentioned when I was doing the write up on the depth chart is that for the offensive starters they actually have 12 guys listed there, and Sims McElfresh is listed as the Z receiver, as the fourth receiver. So it tells you a couple things. One, obviously the staff is very impressed with him, and two, we're going to be running a lot of four wide receiver sets this year.
Yep.
And he's one of those guys where you see a lot about in the practice reports. We're always hearing good things about him, and he's been, I've heard comparisons to Matt Klein just in his ability to run crisp routes and have really reliable hands, and I think he could develop into a solid kind of third down receiver. But I think a big difference between him and Matt Klein is that Sims was a track guy in high school. He's got a lot of speed, and that's not something that Klein had. While he was obviously ran excellent routes, he was tough as nails, had great hands. He didn't have that game breaking speed, and if he's able to kind of combine those two aspects, he's and based on how high the coaching staff is on him, he could be something special for us.
Right, yeah, and I mean we. All around on the receiving corps, we have a ton of speed. I mean, you got Tony Washington and Peacock as the veterans, and then you got Price and McElfresh, who were both track guys. You got Malachi Jones, who I believe was also a track guy. If not, he should have been. So, I mean, we just have all-around speed all over the place. And then, of course, you got Takoy Sumler, who transferred in from Oregon, who, like we said in the interview, could possibly be the fastest player in college football and out of high school. During his recruiting, he ran a 4.2 4.40, and that's in high school. So he's probably got at least a little bit faster, just with a college strength and conditioning program. So we have speed all over the field, and that's great in this offense to be able to have that misdirection, have that speed, get somebody in the open field, and whoever it is potentially take it to the house and be a game breaker. So that's awesome that we have so much speed, and we're not with that speed. A lot of times when you have a player who's fast, they don't have the best hands, or they don't run the best routes, and it doesn't seem to be that case with us. I mean, obviously they're not running NFL caliber routes or anything yet, but they are running good crisp routes from what I've seen. So I'm really excited to see that receiving core and have Coach Stepp take the reins of such a young group and get them going in the right direction.
Yeah, no question. It's you got to think as a guy that's in Coach Stepp's situation where he's himself a relatively young coach. I mean, that's just, you probably couldn't ask for a better group to step into. We have a couple of veterans that have been around, have been there for a while, almost kind of serving as another coach there within the group, and also just so much young talent to develop. And one thing, and kind of mentioning Takoy Sumler, not only all the physical ability that he brings and all that, also just seems to be a very bright kid, and seems to be picking up the offense. And as well as him individually, I think kind of how things have developed since he came on says a lot about not only him, but really the maturity in the whole group. All together, as Coach Stepp mentioned, a lot of times when you have guys that have been in the program for a couple of years, or whether it's the upperclassman, whether it's a redshirt freshman, or just someone that's been in camp all summer, they have, they're fighting for those jobs. And when they see a guy coming in that was a 4-star recruit out of high school, come up from a big program like Oregon, it's not uncommon in a situation like that for guys to kind of be not so welcoming to the new guy coming in, feel like someone's coming in trying to take their playing time. And it really seems like the whole group has really embraced him. And as Coach said, we're going to need all those guys. We have 3-4 wides out there pretty much every play, and as he mentioned, we're if we're going to be rotating guys in every 3 or 4 snaps, we're going to need all those guys, and we need them on the same page, and we need them out there playing for each other, and it really sounds like they're moving in the right direction.
Definitely, yeah. I'm excited to see them. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Ben E. Austin, who gave us a little mention on Twitter. So as always, if you guys want to interact with us, please do. It's at App State Central on Twitter, or Facebook.com/AppStateCentral. And also, I believe we mentioned this before, but we haven't done a great job promoting it, so I want to go ahead and throw it out there. If any of our listeners are aspiring riders or just huge app fans that want to get their thoughts about the team out there in a blog, we've created a system where you can go and add a blog to our site, appstatecentral.com. It's real easy, real easy to do, and if it's a good article, we'll